Alrighty, so in this problem, what we have is the two train leave stations that are 192 miles apart. So we have two trains, right? And they are apart, and the distance that they are apart is 192 miles. And we have train 1 here, we have train 2 here. And it says that they are traveling towards each other, so that's the direction the trains are traveling. And then we also say we have information about how fast the trains are traveling. So whenever I have a problem like this, I like to create a table. So my table, okay, for train 1, train 2. So for this one, they give me the rate that they are traveling, and they are traveling. Train 1 is traveling at 75 miles per hour. Train 2 is traveling at 85 miles per hour. We also have, you have to know how to be able to relate this equation. So one of the ways that I sort of remember is I'm saying, all right, let's say if we look at the speed, right, how fast your car is traveling, your speed is always, you say it's miles per hour, which essentially it's the rate, which is the miles. Distance is measured in miles, so distance. And hours is a measurement of time. So we have r equals distance over time. And you can also, from this one, relate distance. You can say that distance equals rate times time. Or you can say that time equals distance over rate. These equations are very important for you to know. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep plugging my information. Now, do I have the distance? Do I know how much they've traveled? Well, sort of. So one of the things that I can say is that, okay, I know that if one travels X miles, I'm just going to give it a number, the other one must travel 192 minus X. Because X plus the quantity of 192 minus X should equal 192. So I'm just going to say, okay, if this one traveled X miles, the other one must travel 192 minus X. The key information here too, it tells us that how long will it take for the two trains to meet. So how long will it take for the two trains to meet? That means that after maybe saying traveling 3 hours, right? Each train has have to travel the same amount of time for them to be able to meet. They will have covered different distances, but the time will be the same for both of them. The travel time will be the same. So what I can say is that the time, right, t, is the same for both of them. Now, also, I can say what the time is. The time for the first equation, right, is, we'll say this distance over r. So I can just say, oh, it's x over 75. And for the second one is 192 minus x divided by 85. Now, since the time for train 1 must equal the time for train 2, I can say that x over 75 should equal to 192 minus x over 85. Now, it's simply what I have to do is cross multiply. So I have 85x should equals 75 times 192 minus x. So I have this equation and I have to solve for x. So I have 75 times 192 equals 14,400. I don't need a minus 75x equals 85x. I move 75x to the other side, so I have 85x plus 75. That gives me 160x equals 14,400. Now I have to divide 14,400 divided by 160 to be able to find x. and x equals to 90. Now remember what was x? X is the distance traveled by train 1. So now we can go ahead and fill in here that x equals to 90. So that means that the other train is 192 minus 90, means that the other train traveled at 100, has traveled 102 miles, which makes sense, right? So if this one has a higher rate, it should have covered more distance. This one has a lower rate, so it traveled less of a distance. Now, but we're not really looking for the distance, right? We're looking for the time. Now we have enough information to go ahead and plug it into the time. So you'll notice that we can choose either equation. Both of them should satisfy or should give us the exact same answer. So we can either say that time equals to 90 over 75, and that as a decimal is 1.2 hours. Or remember, even if we use the other equation, we have 192 minus 90, which is 102. So we have 102 divided by 85. So 102 divided by 85 is also 1.2 hours. So here, when it says also how long will it take for the two trains to meet, it will take 1.2 hours for the two trains to meet.